I always thought in the whistle songs, I always wonder who actually whistles. Is it the performer or do you like
You
hire
know,
somebody?
if I could whistle, it would have been me, but I can't whistle.
Oh, I
And we
thought it
knew
was
we
you.
wanted it to be a whistle so bad, so the guy that I co-wrote the song with, he whistled, and he was a much better whistler than I am. I'm horrible.
So there are things that you actually can't do as a performer.
There are a few, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I saw your name in some of the songs as the co-writer. What is your actual input in the album?
Each song has a different journey, you know, and some songs I sit with the other writers at the very beginning, and there's some music that we've got already made or like a beat, and you go and you make a melody to that beat, and then you make words. Sometimes there's a melody idea that somebody else has, and you add words to it. Each song's different, but I definitely like being involved and being a part of the team that comes up with the song.
And who wrote the lyrics to Ghost Town?
Most of the lyrics are written by Sterling Fox. Yeah.
And what is your input in Ghost Town?
Some of the other lyrics.
Other lyrics.
The other ones, yeah, but the majority of the song was written by Sterling.
I was just wondering how much of how personal they could actually be.
We definitely talked about things, about life, and Sterling and I got along quite well. We, he's got a background in theater as well, and we started talking about just kind of like where I was at in my life and what was going on with me, and he definitely had things that he could relate to. So it's good. We just got to know each other as people, you know, so that the songs were really coming from a real place.
You were asked many times about the title of the album, The Original Height, and you already explained that it's about going back to the first moments when you really felt involved in something. Do you remember your original high, what it was?
Yeah, I think my original high was the first time I was on stage singing. You know, that's that adrenaline.
When was that? What was
I
that?
think I was 9, maybe 9 or 10, and it was just such a crazy feeling. You know, doing that for the first time, like that rush. It's crazy.
But where exactly?
It was somewhere in San Diego where I was a kid. I think it was on stage. I don't remember what the theater was. Some musical. Yeah, it was crazy. It was a good feeling.
And is it really that you are actually chasing the original high throughout your whole life?
Yeah, sometimes you're chasing it. Sometimes it's chasing you. I think the idea of the album is that every song is sort of about this idea of like going after something that makes you happy or that you think is going to make you happy. Because sometimes we don't realize that we've picked the wrong thing to chase after.
You said that you were, what, 9 when you actually went on stage for the first time? Were you the kind of kid that actually forced his parents to put you on stage, or was it the other way around but actually turned to be a good thing?
I think it was pretty mutual. I mean, I was pretty creative around the house, you know, playing dress up all the time and making things. And my parents just saw that you know, love of the arts and creativity, and they wanted to find somewhere to have me, you know, use that and explore that. And I had a lot of energy and way too much to say. I talked like nonstop. So they wanted to put me in something, you know, where I could share that with other kids. So I asked to do something like that, performing-wise, and my mom actually found the theater group.
Was it hard?
No, I loved it. I loved it because it was once a week. It was during the weekend on Saturdays. So I would have school, like most kids, you know, during the week, and then I would have Saturday to look forward to every week because I could go and rehearse a play.
Would you consider yourself a musician? Because you're surely a performer, a singer, but a musician. You play any
I
instrument?
don't play any instruments. I consider myself a vocalist, you know, and I do love, as a singer, I love being able to freestyle. That's really fun. Because to me, that is a certain amount of musicianship required for that. You have to have the ear. You have to know which note will fit where, and it is about a feeling. It's not always about like knowing it technically. It's about feeling it, which to me is music, you know.
You turned 33 this year.
Yeah, don't remind me.
They call it. Don't worry, I'm turning 33 in September.
So, you know,
Yeah, they're calling it the age of Christ, and they say that it's the age when a man is fully developed physically and spiritually. and in the same time he is ready. That's what I read on Wikipedia.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, I think the Saturn, that if you believe in astrology, that's when the Saturn return is over. Saturn return happens from 27 to 33, and it's like supposed to be some big like shift in your life that happens.
They call it the quarter life crisis.
Yeah, exactly. That sounds about right.
You get the middle life crisis in your 40s or
Yeah,
50s, and in the early 50s you get the quarter life crisis.
Quarter life, yeah.
Is something like that happening in your life when you feel that there is a shift? Because people sometimes start thinking about whether the life went the right way, whether they did the right things, and so on and so on.
Yeah, I mean, I think like most people, I feel like I'm always learning and I'm always evolving. I definitely think that at 27, that was the beginning of a big shift. That's when I was on American Idol, and that's when I was on TV for the first time, and everything changed after that. And the past 6 years have been a very interesting kind of up and down journey in trying to, stay happy and stay creative and also stay humble. It's important for me to keep my feet on the ground and to keep good people around me and make sure that I'm having fun.
I listen to the songs on the original High, and sometimes some of them are about loneliness in general.
Yeah.
You're single. Is it okay with you, or are you feeling lonely sometimes?
I think, I feel both. Sometimes I feel totally cool with it. Like, I like being independent, I love that freedom. But yeah, of course, it would be nice to have someone to share some of these moments with, and it's very difficult in today's world to not have one or the other. It's hard to be in the middle. So it is an issue of extremes for sure.
And who would you call your best friend right now?
I have a handful of best friends at home. But I think one of my best friends right now is the original High album. It's the closest thing to me. Yeah.
It's your third time in Poland, I think. You were a couple of years ago by yourself, then with Queen, and then Queen, and now
last year, a few times.
What are your impressions about the country when you came now? What did you think?
Everybody's really cool. I mean, I've been really impressed with how laid back everybody is. The energy's good. Yeah.
Okay. The last time you were here, you were with Queen, and you were asked a lot of questions about Queen, and not to repeat them, but I always wondered whether there was a moment when you worked with Brian May and Roger Taylor when, apart from thinking that they are geniuses and they're like family and so on, did you ever have a moment when you felt the generation gap? Like you felt they're really cool guys, but they are so old in what they think or say?
I mean, there's definitely moments, in conversation where they just know more than I do. They've been around longer. They're more educated than I am. They've been on this earth. They've seen a lot. So I actually really appreciate the fact that they've been through more life than me. I get to try to learn. It's great being around people that are wise and have been through what they've been through. It can be very educational and inspiring.
So you never felt like a kid?
Not like a kid. No, not like a kid. But definitely there are moments where I realize that I'm younger. But they also are very young at heart. And when we get on stage, most of all, it doesn't feel like there's an age gap at all. That's where like the real magic is happening, and it doesn't feel like a gap.
You're a supporter of charity in general, of many causes, but also of the LGBT movement for obvious reasons. How did you celebrate the decision of the Supreme Court in the United States?
I was actually in New York when that happened, which was very exciting, and I went down with some friends of mine to Christopher Street where Stonewall is, which is kind of where a lot of this movement originally started. So it was pretty exciting being down there the next day, and all the people were on the streets, and everybody was very happy and felt like, a big moment in history had happened, and we could all feel it. It was cool.
Did you get drunk?
I had a drink, yeah.